Hi everyone, in this video I'm going to go over how to apply the watercolor techniques in order to create the Van Gogh inspired watercolor landscape painting. Okay, so we'll get to this part, but what I first want to show you is how do we get to this part. Okay, so if I have my piece of paper, the first thing I want to do is just find where do I want to put a dot on my piece of paper. Okay, how about I'll go right here. Okay. This dot has now become the center of attention. This is now my focal point, right? I'm going to go ahead and go over here. And then I'm going to do another one. Skinny, skinny, skinny. Let's come out. Parallel lines and right here. Okay. Then from this focal point, everything is going to go back to it in order to create depth. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go up right here. And I'm going to go up right here. Let's be a little bit more dramatic with that one because why not? So now it already looks like, just with these 4 lines, it already looks like I'm on my way to a little adventure behind this mountain, okay? Now I'm going to go ahead and heighten my hills over here on one side. I'm going to heighten them on another one. Maybe I'll have that go off the page. Create some mystery, why not? Something fun, okay? And then what I want to do now is add, additional atmospheric perspective techniques in order to create more depth. So we already have the depth with the line work. I have these overlapping mountains, large, medium, small. I have a pathway wide, and then it gets skinnier, nice parallel lines here. Okay, but what I want to do is make sure I'm also creating depth on my paper. So I've got large objects right here in this foreground space. I've got some large grass. Let's just kind of have this grass kind of start interrupting the pathway. It's going to go back. Tiny, 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 tiny. So notice large, medium, small, overlapping the pathway. I'm overlapping the pathway, okay? And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to have some more on this side, on the left side. I'm going to go with large. Okay, I'm just sketching for you for this demo. Then we're going to get, that's a little too tall. It should not be taller than what's over here. Okay. Medium. And then we're going to go and we're going to get smaller back here. Itty bitty 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 bitty. Okay. This is the optical illusion right here, everyone. Large, medium, small. Notice overlapping is a big one. You want to make sure your objects are overlapping. Okay. You also want to make sure you're playing with size. So my size is differentiated here, large, medium, small. That's what I'm talking about. My overlapping mountains, my overlapping grass around my pathway. Okay, and then also the detail. Okay, so let's say I'm going to turn these into, maybe I have some little flowers up here now. Okay, and there's a leaf on my flowers. I have some detailed flowers up here in my foreground. So the foreground space, that's the lowest on the paper, okay, is going to be my space that has the most detail. Then maybe there's like little hints of flowers back here, but there's not going to be any visible flowers in the background. That's just like one little trick of how to make it look like your object is going back into your paper. This is just a flat surface, but it looks like we can walk through this pathway on a nice little hike, right? Then the last one is color. Okay, so color saturation, I'll talk about in a second so I can show you the visual of the color. So basically in this foreground space, this one bottom third of your paper, you're going to have bright, 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 dark, 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 medium, 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 and then light. You want it to go lighter as we get back. Your direct light source, okay, will be presumed to be like a sun or a moon or something in this space. Then you're going to have this direct highlighted area going down in your hills, okay? You can also play with size by doing large, medium, and then like small clouds. So I have my small clouds, medium clouds as I crawl back up into the space, large clouds. You don't want to do this. I want to show you what not to do. Don't do this where you have a cloud like right up against that. Okay, that creates what I call stagnant space where your eye just kind of gets stuck there. You do not want to do that, okay? So I have my overlapping clouds, which makes it look like I have depth back here now on top of my paper because now It's large, medium, small. That's another thing that's going back to my focal point. Okay. So let's move on. This is the sketch that you can put on your watercolor paper. You can also do the sketch just to kind of practice, right? So what you want to do with this, I have my watercolor colored pencils. These are not just regular colored pencils. They have watercolor pigment inside of them. So I have my greens and I have a brown. I have a couple of blues. These are not like that different. So let me grab a darker blue. Then I've got yellow, orange, and red. Okay. So what you want to focus on here is the direction of line. This is what's super important. In my water space, I'm not going to have my lines go like this. I'm going to have them vertically. They're going to go back towards my focal point because that's how the water would go, right? So you basically are just adding, and with your very sharp pencil, you're adding lines like this. Okay, you do not want your lines to be too linear. You want it to be kind of like you're braiding hair, like where you're taking like sections of hair and you're crossing them over. It's kind of like I have all these little pieces of line that are coming out from each other. Okay, you don't want to do this. I have some visual samples back here. You want to kind of try and get into this swirly motion like Van Gogh did. That's who we're inspired by for this project. But you don't want to have like these plain like lines that are just kind of redundant. If you're going to do that, you want to have some kind of feeding into each other next to each other like that, where you have like a variety. But you do want to try to have this, like what I'm saying with like the braided hair technique, where you have lines that are kind of coming out from the middle of each other. Okay. So that way it's just kind of not just lines. So I have my blue. And I'm not just going to completely cover this thing like super solid with these lines. Maybe I want to leave some space for a little bit of reflection, okay? But I have my blues and they're all kind of coming out of each other. They're like, you know, they're scattered. And then in this darker area down here, in this darker space down here, okay, is where I'm going to have the grass is right here. The grass is like interrupting the space. I have some like purple and some blue purple down here in this area, okay? So that I have some shading at the edge. And then once I get towards like the middle, I'm kind of like loosening it up a little bit, similar to stippling, where you have like a bunch, and then they kind of widen out, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, I'm adding more over here. And then what you do, let's pretend this is all full, is you go ahead and you take a brush with water and you add water to it. Because this is watercolor colored pencils, okay? All right. So I'm not trying to totally erase my lines here, but you'll notice some of them start to dissipate as you add the water on there. And then what you can also do is you can steal the pigment. So I'm like stealing my pigment and I'm pulling it down here. Okay. What I want to show you about the grass over here, because I have my direct light source, my sun is right here and it's shining onto here. So then I can go in and make sure that I have some like yellows in here for the highlight where the sun is. Go ahead and put a little bit of yellow because ultimately the sun is shining on this part, okay, of the mountain. It's going to be able to see a little bit over here as well, okay? So I have that going on, okay? My highlighted area, if we want to be as realistic as we can, right? Here's my highlighted area. I can leave that like that or I can add water. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add more detail. This outline right here, this shape of the hill, this shape like really matters. Okay, that's going to happen. The shape really matters because I don't want to just have like vertical lines. Okay, I'm going to have them go based on the direction of this outline. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go based on the direction of the outline. I'm going up right here. And then I'm going to go down. And then I have some space over here that, keep in mind, my lines are starting to get thicker because my pencil, first of all, like broke off when I started drawing because it was like crumbly. These watercolor color pencils, this is Prisma brand. It doesn't matter. They're very crumbly because it's watercolor paint, technically. It's a different type of pigment than you're going to find in like a colored pencil, right? So I'm going in here. Okay, I'm just showing you the direction of line. That's what I care about the most, that you guys are seeing the direction of line. You don't want these to be vertical. You want it to go with the space. These are like little rocks down here. Then I'm going to have some of this up here. Same thing. I'm going to turn these into kind of like more brown as I get more into like the wicked looking mountains that are sharper and kind of further away. I'm going to do like kind of some more like browns and have some blacks in there. Okay. So if I go ahead and I do that and I'm in this corner, I am going to go down. I am going to start to go vertical on these. Okay, so it does make sense to have your the water lines go back, your hills go with the flow of the horizontal down here. These are all going to come down and be horizontal. Okay, but as far as like my mountains up here, right, the reason why I'm doing this, okay, is so that I can go with the outline of the mountain like it's a vertical. It's vertical. I'm going with this outline. And I'm making it so they're sporadic. I don't want them to be like all, you know, in a row or whatever, like in a line. Okay? Because it just makes it too uniform. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a little bit of dark green. So notice over here, the reason why I have this dark green area is because this is like in a crevice right here. And it's also because I'm separating the hills with this area of dark green. And that's important to notate to do that. Okay, otherwise it's just going to look like one big blob. And then right here, I'm going in and I'm curving this line. Nice and sharp. And I'm creating this shadowed space right here. Okay, because it's behind the water. So like maybe the sun can't see it, right? Just a little bit of shading. A little bit of shading in here. And also that shading really helps define the space. Okay. I'm going to go in and actually go and color in this grass. I think I want to start with the lighter one to kind of test it out to see if I love it. If not, you know, I can erase it, but just to kind of like get in and go over some of this. Not everything has to be totally in this like Van Gogh stippled style, right? The only thing I'm going to have on here, however, is drawn and colored in this way is going to be this grass, because I want this Van Gogh style to really stand out, and I don't want to kind of go away from the aesthetic that we're going for, which is like, you know, the line work. Okay. So I have that overlapping, and that way you can kind of really tell there's the overlapping. And then we'll pull this down. This whole area over here is going to be darker. I'm going to use like some dark greens and some blue greens over here. Maybe some blue purple even to really add to the shading. But as far as like the sky goes, I can like play up here. Like let's play like Van Gogh. So I have like, maybe I want to close this up a little bit. I have paintbrush in here. I have paintbrush down here. I have watercolor colored pencil mostly throughout this whole demonstration piece. But maybe I want to play now with color and kind of have these meet this way and do kind of like a little swirl like he would do. Okay. So I think I am going to do that. And I'm not planning that. Like, this is just like, I'm playing. That's what I want for you. Like, play, please. Have fun, please. Right? Isn't that the whole point of art? Isn't that the social, emotional part of art where, you know, you have the opportunity to take some time to do this? It's supposed to be relaxing, not stressful. It's supposed to be where you're playing and having fun. Okay? That's important. What am I going to do with this? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where we end up. No worries. See? No worries. That's what it's supposed to be. Oh, this yellow just gave up on me. That's okay. The yellow is done. I'll find another one. Anyway, change of plan though. My yellow was not behaving, so that's cool. That means my artwork's going to change because I was going to have yellow in here. Now it's going to be like a red purple. Okay. All right, I'm going to keep it moving. Thanks for visiting with me, everyone. I can't wait to see what you come up with, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.